Hi, this is Glenn from GISuser.com. I'm here in Orlando at GeoInt 2012. I'm going to stop by to visit with exactEarth, maritime geodata provider, and I'm going to speak with Chandler Smith. He's the U.S. representative for exactEarth.
Hi.
Hi, Chandler. Nice to meet with you.
Glenn, good to see you.
Good. Maybe you would you like to explain to our audience a little bit about exactEarth, who you are and what you do?
Sure, you bet. exactEarth is a Canadian company that owns and operates a fleet of satellites to detect broadcasts by vessels on the open sea. The International Maritime Organization requires vessels over a certain size threshold to broadcast their identity, position, speed, heading periodically while they're underway. And this is originally intended for avoidance of collisions, but when we detect these broadcasts from space, we're able to put together a global picture. If you focus over here, this shows all the vessel positions that we've detected in the last 24 hours in the Pacific Ocean. We've got data around the entire globe. I'm just not showing the other side of the globe.
Sure.
So globally, in the last 24 hours, we've seen almost 39,000 vessels out of a total commercial fleet of 80,000. And we're doing this with 3 operating satellites now. We have 4 additional satellites we're launching over the next 12 months.
Those are exactEarth satellites?
exactEarth satellites. And we have 1 satellite that was launched in July that is ready to go into full production at the beginning of November. It's in the final stages of checkout. So with the 3 satellites, we're right now getting 39,000. With the additional 5 satellites, we're going to be pushing the entire number of vessels that are out there to be detected. So for each one of these vessels, there's a very rich data set. For example, if we click on this one, we just picked one at random, and you can see over here the metadata about the vessel, including its unique identifier, its call sign, its name, call sign, its position in latitude and longitude, the type of ship it is, the type of cargo it's carrying, what country it's flagged to, the speed it's traveling, the course over the ground that it's traveling, the heading, the rate of turn, the navigation status, where it's headed, where it's destined for, when it's destined to arrive. So there's this wealth of information that's being broadcast continuously by vessels at sea. We also archive all the data that we're receiving so we can create tracks of its prior positions, and that allows you a great deal of flexibility in analyzing vessel traffic patterns and behaviors. You can establish then normative behaviors that you would expect to see, so that when you encounter behavior that doesn't conform to the norm, you know that something's amiss. You can also do a lot of other analytical work with the data. Carl, if you could just show what's going on up in the Arctic, pull the map down. We're in the final stages of the ice-free months in the Arctic, and our satellites are very good at picking up what's happening in the Arctic. Over the last 2 years, we've been monitoring Arctic vessel traffic, and what I'd like to do is illustrate that using our newly introduced web map service. So there you go. Carl's got it up here now. So this just shows you all vessel traffic during July 2011. Now if you go to August 2011, you see as the ice sheet retreats, the vessel traffic starts going further north. Now you go to September, the ice sheet retreats further, you get more vessel traffic, and then in October the ice sheet starts coming back down and the vessel traffic diminishes. So there's a great wealth of information that you can derive from this, and with the continuing melting of the Arctic ice, we're going to see more and more vessel traffic through the Northern Passage and the Northwest Passage. which we're well suited to analyze. This further breaks the traffic down by type of vessel. And each one of these is color-coded to a different type. Yellow, for example, is fishing and research vessels. The red is cargo ships. The orange is tanker vessels, and so on. So again, there's a great deal of information that we can exploit from these broadcasts that the ships are required to make. I don't think one other example, if you could pull up the fishing. Yeah, there we go. One of the big problems around the world is illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing. Here's an example of all these nations in the Pacific islands out there in the Southwest Pacific Ocean that have their own exclusive economic zone, like here the Solomon Islands. They're supposed to be in charge of that 200-mile radius around their country for exploitation of economic resources to provide for their own people. But what we have here is a lot of South Korean fishing vessels that are encroaching in the exclusive economic zone of the Solomon Islands. And this is a massive problem that creates economic dislocation for poor countries when the richer countries are illegally exploiting their fishing waters. That, in fact, was what was the root cause of the piracy problem in Somalia. The European and Asian fishing nations came in with modern fleets, higher levels of technology, and basically put the poor fishermen out of business in Somalia, and now they have these 20-foot boats, buy an AK-47 and go into the piracy business. So it's a very interesting sequence of events. Do you have any other questions or things you'd like to know about?
So obviously, I could see this being very attractive solutions and data product to a number of countries around the world. How many major, countries that you can speak of?
That's a great question. We have several contracts underway with the U.S. government now, the Coast Guard, the Navy. We're doing some support for some of the combatant commands, but these are sort of evaluation level contracts. They're not full service contracts. We do have a number of other nations, though, that have committed to receive our data subscriptions on a full service basis. Canada, Australia, South Africa, India, Denmark, Singapore, and so we're really targeting the maritime authorities, the Coast Guards, Navies, and intelligence services of the G20 nations. And we hope in the next year or two, as the fiscal matters in the U.S. get straightened out, to be providing a global data feed that can be used by the Coast Guard, Navy, and intel services.
Definitely. Okay, well, thanks for showing us that, and have a good show.
You bet.
Thanks once again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.